Imagine, just for a second, that the greatest secrets, the most brilliant ideas, the absolute most mind-blowing discoveries of the ancient world were just erased, gone, poof, vanished into thin air. Imagine if the math we use every day, the medicine that actually heals us, and the science that explains our whole universe were completely lost in the sands of time. So how did humanity dodge that massive disaster? Well, that is exactly the grand historical mystery we're going to unravel today.
Welcome to an epic historical adventure. Today, we're jumping in our time machine and traveling back to an era of just unbelievable discovery. We're going to explore how one specific part of the world stepped up to totally save human history and, created something completely new while they were at it. This is the story of the Golden Age begins, language, learning, and great scholars. Get ready because history is about to come alive.
But hey, before we set off on our journey, just a quick note about the architect of today's explainer. This educational journey is proudly produced by Waqas Ahmed Shah, an incredible educator and an AI agents and automation builder for educators, traders, and startups, based right out of Karachi, Pakistan. All right, let's get into it.
Okay, let's dive right into Section 1, the mystery of lost knowledge. To really wrap our heads around how wild this story actually is, we kind of need to set the scene. So, here's a massive fun fact to kick things off. When we talk about the Golden Age of Islam, we are not just talking about a couple of good years or, a lucky decade. This incredible era lasted for about 300 years, 3 centuries. It stretched all the way from the 8th century right into the 11th century. For all that time, Islamic culture was flourishing and human knowledge was just exploding at a pace the world had literally never seen before.
And the crazy part? This wasn't just happening in one tiny little town. Imagine a giant map stretching all the way from Spain and Europe to modern-day Uzbekistan and Central Asia. Across this gigantic empire, these brilliant cities of culture and learning just started popping up everywhere. We're talking about places like Samarkand, Cordoba, Cairo, and Baghdad. And in these cities, people weren't just building regular old castles. They were building giant libraries, massive schools, really busy laboratories, and towering observatories just to study the stars.
Which brings us to Section 2, Arabic, the ultimate key.
So think about it. If you have all these brilliant minds spread thousands of miles apart, from Spain to Central Asia, how do they actually talk to each other? How do they share all these amazing ideas? Well, they needed a single tool to bring everything together. And that tool, the ultimate key, was the Arabic language. As Arabic spread across these vast lands, it became the main language of imagination and scholarship. It was literally like a master key. On one hand, scholars used Arabic to unlock old knowledge, discovering and translating ancient texts from the Greeks, the Indians, and the Persians. But on the other hand, they adapted the Arabic language so they could express brand new scientific ideas that no human being had ever even thought of before.
Let's move to Section 3 and see how this builds, the epic house of wisdom.
Let's zoom in on one specific, totally legendary place. Right in the magnificent city of Baghdad, which is in modern-day Iraq, a ruler named Caliph Mamun built something absolutely extraordinary between the years 813 and 833. He built this famous university called the House of Wisdom. You can basically think of this place as the ultimate ancient research lab. This is the spot where the greatest works from Greece, India, Syria, Persia, and Northern Africa were all brought together to be translated into Arabic. It brought this completely new, vibrant scientific spirit to the entire world.
And the people working inside this House of Wisdom? Truly fascinating. Take Hunayn Ibn Ishaq al-Ibadi, for example. He was an Arabic-speaking Christian who studied medicine right there in Baghdad, learned ancient Greek, and even became the chief doctor to the royal court. But get this, he was also a real-life historical treasure hunter. He literally traveled across Syria, Palestine, and Egypt for the sole purpose of gathering lost ancient Greek manuscripts to bring back and translate. How cool is that?
Because of the incredibly hard work of Hunayn and his students, they translated just massive numbers of these books. They literally unlocked the ancient secrets of Greek legends like Plato, Aristotle, and the great medical mind Hippocrates. By putting all these secrets into Arabic, they made this ancient genius available to philosophers and scientists everywhere across the Islamic world. The lost knowledge was finally, officially saved.
Now, what's really interesting is Section 4, Meet the Polymaths.
We are about to meet the absolute superheroes of this era. But first, what exactly is a polymath? Well, simply put, a polymath is a person who is an expert in several completely different subjects. Imagine your doctor also being your favorite philosopher, who also just happens to be a genius inventor who builds amazing gadgets on the weekends. That is a polymath. And the House of Wisdom was absolutely packed full of them.
Let me give you my personal favorite example, Abu Yusuf al-Kindi. He lived from around 800 to 870 and is very often called the first Arabic philosopher. But this guy had an unbelievable list of skills. He studied and wrote entire books about medicine, geography, geology, the stars and astrology, how light works in optics, and this is the best part, sword making. Yeah, sword making. He even took Greek philosophy and brilliantly mixed it with Islamic teaching. He was so famous that students would travel from completely different countries just for the chance to learn from him.
This naturally leads us to Section 5, the birth of real science.
Because, look, these historical superstars didn't just sit around reading old books all day. Oh no, definitely not. They took that knowledge and created something truly revolutionary, the birth of real, hands-on, experimental science. To see this in action, let's look at the massive science boom that happened in the city of Cairo between the years 900 and 1200. The ruler over there, Caliph al-Hakim, was such a massive fan of science that he employed brilliant astronomers and polymaths like Ibn Yunus and Ibn al-Hatham. He loved science so much that he actually built a huge, important library right inside his own palace, just so these scientists had a VIP place to meet and discuss their wild new ideas.
And when these scientists got together, they followed two super strict, game-changing rules for their students. Step 1. Do not accept anything as true until it has been tested thoroughly with experiments. Basically, you have to prove it. And Step 2. Work from a basis of things you already know for a fact are true, and then use that knowledge to discover the unknown. Guys, this is the very foundation of the scientific method we still use in your science classes today. They weren't just guessing, they were testing, experimenting, and actually proving how the universe works.
So, the crucial point is coming up here in Section 6, the Golden Age Recap.
This single era changed the trajectory of human history forever. Let's do a really quick, energetic recap to pull it all together. Just visualize the grand scale of this story. In the 8th century, the Arabic language rapidly spreads, basically becoming the ultimate key for sharing all these big ideas. Fast forward to 813, and the magnificent House of Wisdom is built in Baghdad, effectively saving the ancient world's knowledge from being lost. And then, jumping from 900 to 1200, science absolutely blossoms in Cairo with real experimental testing. That is 300 years of pure human progress.
Which leaves us with one massive, lingering question to think about today. If these polymaths, these totally dedicated translators, and these visionary rulers hadn't stepped up to save and test those ancient secrets, what would our modern world actually look like today? Without them, we honestly might still be stuck in the Dark Ages. That device you're watching this explainer on right now, it literally exists because they kept the flame of knowledge burning.
History is just full of these incredible mysteries and legendary heroes who are just waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed traveling back to the Golden Age today and you want to join us for our next historical adventure, make absolutely sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and follow along. There is just so much more history out there to unlock together. I will see you on the next explainer.